this video, we will demonstrate the Drop Block 100 procedures of Engage Genesis and Engage Inception LVT. Among their many advantages, Engage Genesis and Engage Inception offer fast, easy installation, even over subfloors with minor imperfections. Genesis and Inception are designed to be floating floors and must be allowed to expand and contract freely. They should never be glued, nailed, or fastened to the substrate in any way. The first step to outstanding installation is careful preparation. Follow these pre-installation steps for best results. First, verify that all material to be installed is from the same run. Minor shade variations within the same run number are normal. However, installing material from different run numbers across large expanses is not desirable. Next, turn on the HVAC at least 1 week prior to installing. Room temperature should be maintained between 50 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 and 38 degrees Celsius for at least 48 hours prior to installation. Next, confirm the substrate is suitable for use with Engage Genesis and perform the appropriate moisture checks. Concrete substrates must be tested for relative humidity, moisture, and pH. Test results must not exceed 85% relative humidity or RH. The calcium chloride test for moisture must be no more than 8 pounds per 1,000 square feet in 24 hours MVER, moisture vapor emission rating, and pH tests for alkalinity levels should register between 7 and 9. Wood substrates should be checked using an invasive moisture meter even if no obvious sign of moisture is present. Moisture levels must not exceed 14%. Next, check the substrate for level. Substrates must be sturdy, sound, and flat within 3/16 of an inch within a 10-foot radius, 4.7 millimeters in a 3-meter radius. In addition, the substrate should not slope more than 1 inch per 6 feet in any direction, 2.5 centimeters in a 1.8-meter radius. If necessary, fill large cracks or voids with cementitious leveling and patching compound. When installing over ceramic tile in residential applications, filling grout lines is not required so long as subfloor flatness guidelines are followed. In commercial applications over ceramic, grout lines must be filled. When carpet or vinyl has been removed, old adhesives must be scraped up, skim-coated, or encapsulated, and left so no ridges or puddles are evident and what remains is a smooth, thin film. Wood door casings should be undercut to allow your product to fit neatly underneath. Do not cut metal door casings. Cut your flooring around them, leaving a 1/4 inch or 6.3 millimeter expansion space. Finally, sweep and vacuum the entire subfloor to remove all debris and dust and you're ready to begin. Acclimation is not required in residential installations. For commercial applications, Metroflor recommends acclimating the flooring for 48 hours prior to installing. Place unopened cartons in stacks of no more than 3 high and at least 4 inches apart, away from heating and cooling ducts and direct sunlight. Maintain the room temperature between 50 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 and 38 degrees Celsius and keep the humidity level between 40 to 60% before, during, and after installation. Install Engage Genesis or Engage Inception with Drop Block 100 by first determining your starting wall and setting spacers to create the required expansion space between the planks and the wall. These will remain in place until installation is complete. Installation will begin from left to right, beginning in the left corner with the long groove edge facing you and the tongue side facing the wall. Position the first plank against the spacer a few inches from the starting wall. For planks, the end joints from row to row should be staggered randomly, a minimum of 6 inches apart. Tiles should be staggered in a brick-laid pattern with the stagger equal to half of a tile. Cut the first plank in the second row to 1/3 its length before installing it. Insert the long tongue edge into the long groove of the first plank. Make sure there are no gaps and tap into place using the Prevail tapping block. Installation alternates back and forth between rows 1 and 2 for the first 2 rows only. Insert the long side of the second plank in the second row. Then slide it until the short tongue touches the short groove on the first plank of the second row. Press into place and tap the short joint with a lightweight dead blow hammer. Then square the joint by tapping the long edge of the plank using the tapping block. Position the long groove of a full plank into the tongue of the second plank in the second row, then press, tap, and square as before. Repeat the same installation pattern on rows 1 and 2 until you reach the opposite wall and cannot install another full plank. Cut the pieces to fit, being sure to maintain the expansion gap and install as before. Then move the entire assembly against the spacers on the starting wall. Install the remaining flooring 1 row after the other. Always press, tap, and square as you go, and maintain the required stagger throughout the install. Measure and cut the final row of planks to fit along the wall and use a pull bar to lock the long edges together. Do not use the pull bar on the short edges. After all planks are installed, remove the spacers and cover the expansion gap with trim, being sure not to trap or pin down the floor. Please note that in high moisture areas, the expansion space may be filled using premium waterproof 100% silicone sealant. For more information and installation guidelines about Engage Genesis or Engage Inception, visit www.metroflorusa.com.